Our enemies are on our shores.
They are.
And then over in China, China's literally built islands in the sea, making the islands, making great landing sites for their airplanes, for their ships to dock, for
Yes.
all of these things. And you have a little nation like North Korea who just vows that they will destroy the United States of America. And all it takes is one bomb in the wrong place at the wrong time, and America's grid goes down. And people are trying to warn us about the grid. I don't know why somebody doesn't run on that. If I was running for president, I would run it. I was going to fix the grid, because you could harden the grid for what we give to our enemies.
Oh, yeah. When you bring that up, Pastor, there was something that North Koreans started in March of this year, which I don't know if it's been well publicized, and that is they started this battalion of basically spies that carry enriched uranium with their bodies that is packaged with a conventional explosive. And so what they're intending to do with this battalion of forces is to strategically place them around their, important places, government buildings or military installations or whatever, and create radiological dispersal targets. Because once you blow that up, suicide bomber, you contaminate that place for decades and decades. And so all of a sudden, let's say you send out a battalion of 500 people, and they each have one of these devices. And this is in The Guardian or something.
Yeah.
And I think there's credible information here. Then you basically decommission all of these places where they can't be used for a long, long time. You can destroy an entire nation that way. These are the types of insidious things that are on our plate that we have to deal with. And for us to just tolerate these people is unacceptable.
I was just reading about that, and I didn't go into it, and I haven't really studied it yet. So you're filling me in a lot on it. I didn't realize that this is literally atomic power.
Yeah.
It's really...
they just wear them as a backpack. It's a backpack that they just put on their shoulder.
Yeah, I saw that headline, but I had no idea what it would do.
Yeah, well, that's how they would employ it. It's not a nuclear device per se.
In some ways, the bombing or the bombs, the things that they are preparing for war, they're complicated, but they're simplifying the fact that terrorists can carry one, can I say damnable piece of material that can blow you up. And this is carried by a human being? Is that what you're saying?
It's carried by a human being, and it's not a nuclear explosive.
No,
but it's going to contaminate a broad area, and that's what we're always concerned about with ISIS.
Makes it unusable by humanity.
Oh, completely unusable. All you have to do is detonate a couple of these, one on Washington D.C., and it's not useful anymore.
Wow.
And that means you don't function in D.C. anymore. New York City wouldn't function anymore. They couldn't function for decades, and I don't know how long it takes.
And that's why we have sensors at various places to pick up on increased radiation, increased biological agents, increased chemical agents, so that we can anticipate this.
We've been decreasing our armaments,
our nukes,
while our enemies have been increasing.
That's true.
We made deals that we would disarm, and we have.
Yes. With the Russians especially. And we have radically reduced our inventory of warheads and ballistic missiles, as well as bombers. Meanwhile, the Russians have heavily invested in those same and have come out with new versions of them. And now, of course, they've changed their doctrine to employ nuclear weapons. Now, at the same time, the Russians are very clever in that they've improved in this area, but they've also improved in their conventional capabilities. And so they're using what we often refer to as hybrid warfare or Russian deterrence. And so they keep us guessing as to what they might do. They acknowledge that they would use nuclear weapons first, and at the same time they're going to use not only conventional weapons, some of which we have taken out of our inventory naively, but they're going to use economic weapons and political weapons. And that's what we saw in Crimea, we saw in Ukraine, we're seeing in Syria today, and we're seeing elsewhere as the Russians go forward.